What's up? What's up? This is your boy Corey J, and welcome to another episode of To Be Frank, the podcast. Say what you gotta say the first time, not the next time.
That part. Yes.
I'm real delighted to have today's special guest. My goodness, if you don't know her by now,
Oh.
you're gonna know her today. Without further ado, I'm not even gonna introduce her. I'm just gonna bring that here. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rebekah Brumfield.
Hello, everyone. Yes, it is me, Rebecca with a K.
So Becky, first things first.
Yes.
Thank you for being on today's broadcast.
Absolutely.
We already know this is gonna be delightful
Absolutely.
and full of energy.
Yes.
Today's episode is called Becky Has the Answers. It's clearly she got the answers.
I try.
So first things first, Becky, I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself
Okay.
for those that haven't met you before.
Yes. So, hello, everyone. My name is Rebekah E. Brumfield. I go by Rebecca with a K because I spell my name with a K.
Okay.
I am originally born and raised in Louisiana. I've lived a lot of places as a preacher's daughter. I've lived quite a few places. I graduated high school in Indianapolis, Indiana, and then I came back here to Baton Rouge to attend and graduate from the Southern University.
Graduate. You heard her.
So I built my life here. My daughter, I raised her here. I'm an entrepreneur. I work for the public health sector. I am in media, news reporting. I don't know. I just do a little bit of a lot.
Come on.
Oh, I forgot the spice line. I also own, what else I have?
She's
Lipstick
a Jill
line.
of all trades. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah,
Jill
like
of
I have a
all
lot
trades.
going on. And, most importantly, I am definitely a child of God, a woman of faith. And that's how I met my new bro over here through church.
POP, hold it down.
Yes.
So let's get into these questions.
All right.
First question that we have for you is, what makes Rebekah so different than all these other media personalities that are out there?
I mean, I think you just said it. I'm Rebekah. I'm authentic. What you see online is who and what you see in person.
Mhm.
I live my life being authentic because I feel like if you're being anything or anyone else, you're a fraud. So that's
good.
what makes me different. I have no problem sharing my story, sharing my testimony. I feel that, it's a space for me to be authentic, to help others so that they don't fall into some of the traps and, be fooled by a lot of the things that are out in this world because, things have changed in the last
Yes, they
10,
have.
20 years.
Big
And
time.
so if Auntie can help, then I'm
Come
going
on,
to be an
Auntie.
auntie and do what I can do.
Auntie be looking out for her brother. What would you say is your biggest challenge right now in the media field?
Ooh, everyone feel like they can do it. That's the
Okay.
biggest challenge. Everyone
Okay.
feels like because they have a
Gotcha.
microphone, because they have an iPhone, or they have a laptop, or they
Mhm.
have whatever it is, they can just go live and do it. It's a lot of preparation. It's a lot of research. When you're
Mhm.
serious about it, you do research.
Gotcha.
When you're serious about it and people see that you've prepared and you've taken the time to dig deeper than what's on the blogs and what's on the net, you are respected and
Mhm.
they see that you've done the work, and so you get that credibility of I can trust this person. For me, a lot of the people that I've interviewed in the past, they've recognized that I've gone deeper than the blogs. I've gone deeper than the rumors, than the mess. And
Mhm.
so that gives me that credibility. And I've also created a safe space where it's
Gotcha.
not mess, it's not drama, it's not, going back and forth with people in the comments and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I allow people to tell their story because that's the part. That's the point. I want them to share their story.
And I like the fact that you emphasize on letting people tell their story.
Correct.
Not
Correct.
what people want to hear
Yes.
or this scripted type of
Yes.
mess, but an actual story.
Yes.
Thus far, what would you say has been one of your most captivating interviews that you have done?
Ooh. Top two.
Okay, we get a top two, y'all.
Number one would be Pastor Jamal Bryant.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Top now Pastor Kwame Kilpatrick.
Wow.
And they're controversial because of things
Mhm.
that have been printed about them, things that's been said about them. But not only having just relationship with them
Mhm.
outside of media, just kind of knowing them, but not making it feel like, oh, you my bro, I know you, so we're not
Right.
gonna talk about that. No, talk about it because
Yeah.
I want you to say
what's
what it
going
is.
on.
And not also being on that messiness about, well, so and so said you did this and this. I always ask the questions that I think people want to hear, but I also ask the questions that I want to know.
Right.
Why are people so invested in you? Why are people so
Right.
invested in your relationships? Why do people care?
Yeah.
And I realize that, depending on your level of industry. So if you're in ministry, people do care because you're the leader, you're their
Right.
shepherd. They want to know, why do people keep coming out about you having these illegitimate children and these relationships when you're the leader, and they look to you for guidance. But he's also human.
Correct.
We're all human. We're
He's
all
Jamal
flawed.
first.
Like, we're all flawed, and I know that there are times when, I may have said something or done something, and people that know me when I did is like, well,
Yeah.
who are you to be? But I'm going to tell you I did it.
Right.
Nothing that I've done am I ever going to be like, well, I ain't do that. Because if I did it, I did
You
it.
did it. That's
Because
it.
I stand on it.
You stand on big
I
business.
stand on it.
Big
Big business. Yes. So I think those would be my top two. There's several others, of
Okay.
course, over the years, but I think those two would be the most memorable. And the honorable mention for third would probably be Bishop Drew Sheard.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of people feel like, you get to certain levels and you're untouchable.
Yeah.
Like they're not human anymore.
Right. Right.
And it's always like,
What's
I
going
call him
here?
on the phone and be like, hey, Uncle, what you
What's
doing? Like, so
Auntie calling.
yeah, I
Love it.
like to make sure, and I like to show people have a human side.
Gotcha.
They can laugh, they can joke,
Yeah.
because they have families too.
Right. Right.
So.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. I love the fact that here it is, your top three is all men.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I noticed, especially within this industry, folks feel that women don't have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
Though I want to commend you publicly that
Yeah.
you really have a strong voice in this industry.
Thank you.
Hearing that and seeing a woman that may be watching us trying to bring her voice to the next level, what advice would you give her?
Authenticity. Be authentic. Be who you are. Don't try to follow up what is popping on social media. Be who you are. It shines through. I have no communications training, no mass media training. That's not even my background. My degree is not in any of that. I just surrounded myself around people that believed in me, that pushed me, that said, hey, I think you're pretty good at this. Keep going. Help me with the resources that I needed, made the connections for me.
Gotcha.
I will say, once you make the connections, once you get in the room, once you're at the table, it's up to you to show up.
Come on now.
Because you have a lot of people sitting at the table, so many people knocking at the door, but they can't get in because what you doing? What you talking about? Like, you want me to invite you to my table, but we have nothing to discuss.
Right.
You
You're
can't
scrolling
bring
on your
anything.
phone, you're not paying
I
attention.
cannot be inspired by you.
Gotcha.
I'm always looking for people that I can help pour into. I'm the strong friend. And so I'm always pouring into people, and I'm always in need of people to pour back into me.
Gotcha.
People that inspire me. And so a lot of times it's people that I talk with regularly and that I'm in community with regularly that inspire me. I don't do too much connecting with people online, like your bloggers and podcasters and stuff like that, because a lot of that's fake.
Gotcha.
I don't have time for fake.
Right. She says she's keeping it all the way real. You hear me? So I love the fact that, and whether y'all know it or not, but y'all about to know, Becky is connected to the Jamals. How she's connected to the Jamals? She is nationally syndicated. Did y'all know that? She is nationally syndicated. Ain't no little Becky. It's Big Becky.
Big Becky.
Big Becky. When you mentioned Dr. Jamal Bryant, I mean, it pulled my heartstrings because I really look up to Dr. Jamal Bryant. He literally carried me through 2023.
Okay.
His messages were so divine.
Yes,
it's what I needed and whatnot. And to see him live in person at Essence Fest last year, I had chills. Yeah. Like, his message was just on point. Yeah. Saying that you're connected to the Jamals, you're connected to Jamal Bates. Yes. The Jamal Bates. Morning show. What's up, Jamal? What's up? I'm just saying, I want to be a guest. I'm picking. Yeah. Tell us, how did that journey start? Like, because that is like so interesting to me. It's such a journey. So radio was not on my vision board, not on anything I ever dreamed or imagined for myself.
So with 2020 came the pandemic. As we are all well aware, we're all at home. Most of us were at home. Most of us were still working. Whatever the case was, there was this social app called Clubhouse that came out where it was just voice. All you just talk to people. Like there's no video, there's nothing but audio. So I can put a picture up and all you see is my picture and you just talk. Gotcha. And so I got connected with this group of ministry, not necessarily leaders, but they're all in ministry in some capacity, whether it's a worship leader, pastors, church admin, just whatever it was. We all were just connected because we had a church connection, and we're petty, we're shady, and we're violent, and we know all the good church tea. So that's how we stayed connected. And so one of the gentlemen in the group was friends with Jamal Bates. And so Jamal Bates, being a pastor, he came into the group, just kind of started talking. I saw that he was in media. He saw that I was in media. And of course, I'm a Southern girl. So, he heard that Southern twang and was like, oh, who is that?
Who that is? Who that be?
So as the time went on, we talked for a little bit. Not too much on the talk. I'm not moving to South Carolina and I'm not beckoning to be a first lady. So that wasn't going to work. And so about a year or so ago, he called me and was like, hey, do you have a microphone and a laptop? And I'm like, yeah, who doesn't? And so he was like, well, hey, are you available to fill in for our co-host? She's out sick. And I'm like, what do I do? He's like, oh, just talk, just be you. And I'm like, okay, cool. So that turned into one day, the next week, the next week, the next month, and now it's been almost 2 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Look, come on, we're gonna give her this online standing ovation.
Yes.
That is remarkable. I mean, I love hearing that because my first major was mass comm. I did television broadcasting first, and then I did radio broadcasting.
Okay.
Then I took a break from it all, and then that's when the Lord put it upon me to do this podcast.
Come on, podcast.
And I'm like, oh gosh, I'm like, this is this is a lot,
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna just do audio, and he like, no, you're doing audio and visual. I'm like,
come on.
So that means I gotta dress
that part
because I can't be up
put your good clothes on.
My good clothes on. Tell us about your podcast, which it's spicy, y'all. It's hot and spicy. So
I don't know if it's that spicy.
It just depends who the guest is.
Yes, I think that it's situational. It's situational. So I have a podcast / video blog / IG live. Like I really don't know how to describe it.
All of it.
Because it's kind of all in one, but it is called #TouchTasteThursday. That came out of one of the several ideas that I had during the pandemic, just trying to figure out, what I wanted to do next. Gotcha. Public health was like crazy at the height of COVID because no one knew what to do. Everyone looked to us for answers, but we didn't have the answers,
Gotcha.
And so I started out as a product tester, product reviewer. And so as I was doing different things and posting it online, people started reaching out to me saying, hey, I make soap. I'm a candle maker. I have treats. I have this. I do this. I do that. Can you give me a review and whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so I was like, well, I'll just start doing them on a specific day so people can look forward to that because, I mean, everybody's at home all day. So it's like, this will be the day. This will be the time. And I call it #TouchTasteThursday because it was on a Thursday. It was either going to be a touch, meaning it was a product or something, or a taste, something that I was reviewing on air. From there, I developed into reaching out to those entrepreneurs and having them to talk about how they got in the process of creating whatever it was, so that they were able to share their story. And that's always been my thing. Share your story. Let people know in your own words, not my words, but, from you directly. And I started adding to it. And then I started getting a few celebrities and more celebrities. And like I said, I surrounded myself around people that believed in me, that saw what I was doing. So I was serious about it and started opening up their networks and their Rolodex and their, contacts to me like, hey, this person does this, and this person does that. And from there, it just grew into where celebrities and industry leaders were like, hey, why don't you, use our brand or try our brand or, use this, you that, do this. And here we are 4 years later.
Listen, Auntie is on the come up. If y'all not following her, y'all need to follow her. Like she didn't just lay down waiting on a PPP loan to pop up during the pandemic. She said, you know what? I got these gifts. I got these talents. I'm about to make it do it. Yes. Which brings me to my next question. let's say somebody's watching
Mhm.
and they're feeling overwhelmed right now. Because I know you wear a
Mhm.
lot of hats, just like I
Absolutely.
wear a lot of hats. Y'all
Mhm.
heard it first. She does a lot of stuff.
Yes.
So, being that this podcast episode is called Becky Has the Answers, what is one of the answers you would say helps you prevent yourself from burnout, feeling overwhelmed, entering a place of solitude?
Stopping.
Mm,
Just stop.
Okay.
Just stop, because if you keep going and you're already half-hearted in it, you're worn out, you're beat down, you're tired, you're not inspired. All you're doing is just throwing out something. And if it's not a product of quality, it's not worth it. Just stop. For myself, I have gone through burnout. I have gone through just being wiped out. Like the church people say, weary, wounded, and worn. That was me. And so I stopped. And, it's been a lot of times when I've been in a space where I'm like, Lord, I just want to just be quiet. But because of my jobs and my industry, I can't just be quiet. People say I'm gonna take a social media break. I can't take a social media break.
I'm fighting with that right now.
It's like, take a social media break.
I'm fighting with it hard.
And I think we have to use the tools and the resources we have, which are, you have a lot of auto post, content creation management software where you can load it up and post it. And I don't know if that's tea for anybody that's, a secret. There are apps out there where you can load up your content and you can set the dates, the time. I have to stop because I get overwhelmed. I am very emotional. I'm an emotional person. I know sometimes I come across like a no limit soldier, but I am very emotional.
For the 99 in the 2000s?
The 99 in the 2000s. And I gotta regroup.
Got you.
Yeah.
Whew, stopping is hard.
It is, but sometimes when you stop, that's when you give your brain a chance to just decompress, and it gives your brain a chance to almost like do an auto fresh, where you refresh and now you're thinking of new things and things you can improve on, and it gives you time to look at the things you've already done and say, okay, well, how can I make this better, or how can I not do this? It's so many things that I've done over the last 4 years that I'm like, okay, well, I can add this to the brand, I can add that to the brand, I can do this, I can do that, and then I stop. And I look at it and I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do that anymore. Or I'll be like, you know what, that was pretty good. Let me run that back.
Yeah.
For a season, like probably all of a few weeks, I did carpool karaoke.
Okay.
I was picking my daughter up from school because I was still working from home at the time. And so picking her up, I would just do carpool karaoke, just different songs or whatever, put it together, put it out there. For a few weeks, I did it. It was cool, but then you go back and you look at it and you're like, that wasn't the best product, or that wasn't the best for my brand.
Yeah.
And again, no shade to people that do things and it pops for them, but everything just because it pops is not long lasting. Sometimes it's just throwing out a product and it's cute and it's funny and it's great, but it's not something that a brand or a corporation can look at and say, oh, this could be something that we can create a partnership on.
That's good. So what does decompressing look like for Becky?
As long as there's some food involved.
Oh, you're a foodie?
Am I? A nap involved. Usually just stopping and decompressing is that, a nap. Just not doing anything. Typically Saturdays are my days where I'm literally in the bed all day. Because my days, Monday through Friday, start at 5 a.m. And depending on what I have in the evening, it may end at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, just doesn't, I don't know. And I never know, but I live my life by a calendar. So Saturdays, if there's nothing going on, don't bother me. DND, don't bother me.
That notification come up real quick on that screen, so don't even play yourself.
And do.
So oftentimes being in the light, you often can be considered misunderstood, over conceptualized, and without the there's often folks that try to place a but on your name. How do you keep the noise out of the direction that you're moving forward in?
Oh, that's a really good question. It's interesting to me that people have these ideas of me and don't know me. They see me from social media. They see me around town. They see me with some of the people that I'm connected with. And it's automatically assumed that I'm unapproachable.
Celeb status.
Or I'm not able to hang. Or, like it's just so weird, and, people have shared with me what other people have said to them about me. And I'm like, who said that?
Who's that?
Like, why? And I feel like that's so unfortunate because you miss out on so many really good people that are, that could be a blessing to your life, even if it's for, a couple minutes, a season, whatever, because people have put their own thoughts and ideas and projections onto other people. And that's not fair.
Right.
Now, I will say, I will say,
speaking, here come.
To be frank, I am a koala bear. Okay. I'm cute. I'm cuddly.
Okay.
I'm really just, I mind my business. I observe, but don't cross me. Don't fool with. Don't be misunderstood.
She ain't no killer, but don't push her.
That part. Yes, I am a koala. If you ever seen a koala in their habitat, they just kind of in the tree, just minding their business, just doing their thing. When you keep and you just
it
keep.
Don't take much.
So there's that. But I'm trying to be better about it. The Lord is working on me.
Come on, Jesus.
With, I'm just trying to be better. I am trying to be better socializing wise. I'm trying to be better about allowing people to have their opinions of me, and also being like, that's unfortunate you feel that way. And maybe at some point when you decide you want to open your mind a little bit more, have a conversation with me and move forward. But right now I'm just like, okay, you feel that way and that's what you think? Okay.
And I'm glad you mentioned in reference to social media, because that's an issue that's going on right now.
Yes.
People are seeking validation from social media to where they aren't validating themselves.
Correct.
This really is like a crash course when you look at it, because it's like, okay, now I got buku likes.
Yes.
I got buku comments.
Yes.
I got buku shares.
Yes.
But then this person is at home.
Yep.
Isolated.
Yep.
Feeling lonely, crying.
Yep.
The whole nine. But you seeing sunshines and rainbows when in actuality is clouds and rain.
Absolutely.
Question that I have in regards to that is, what is a way individuals can go a new route, not even a new route, can eliminate seeking validation from social media?
Ooh, seeking validation without, just think, if social media didn't exist, what would you do? How would you operate? If the internet just completely just went away one day, there was no way to socialize other than face to face, like when we were children, what would you do? I think as we get older, we realize with wisdom that people's opinions of us don't really matter. It's what we think about ourselves, and knowing what God thinks about us is what matters.
Gotcha.
Everyone does have a little bit of, vanity about themselves, where they feel, or like we call it imposter syndrome, where you feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. Am I doing the right thing? Do people know that I'm not, But I think we have to take the time to get off of social media, interact with people that really care and support us, because that's where you see, okay, I am good at this. People do like me doing this. I'm good on TV. Like, people can see me on, things like that. And social media is it's created to create doubt, and it places doubt in your mind that it's really unnecessary. Sometimes we get into spaces where we do have to show up, we do have to smile, we do have to present this image that we've placed on social media. And so when you're having a moment when you're down or you're sad, or if I'm running to the Walmart and I don't want to put on my red lipstick, people are looking for that red lipstick. Like, exactly. And so you have to be authentic in all aspects of your life. I'm not saying share every detail of what you ate today, how long you slept last night, who called you on the phone. Like, some of those things don't need to be shared. But if okay, I have to turn this off, and I do have to steal away for a bit for me to reset me, then I think that validity and that seeking approval and all of that stuff, it won't really matter.
Whew. That was good.
No, thank you.
That was really good. Which brings me to my next question. I have placed a table with you and 4 empty chairs.
Okay.
Who would you fill in those 4 empty chairs?
Ooh. Everybody's gonna say Jesus. Like everyone says Jesus. So of course, Jesus. Because he's gonna give you the answers that you need for everything else.
Okay.
The seat number 2 would be probably Rebekah from the book of Genesis.
Okay.
I'm a name person. My name's Rebekah, and Rebekah in Genesis 24. I kind of want to know. Like,
she know her word, y'all.
I know enough. I know enough, but I kind of want to know her story. I want to know more about her. I know she married Isaac. I know she had Jacob and Esau. I know all of these things, but I want to know her. So I would put her in seat 2 after Jesus. Number 3 would have to go to. Ooh, I don't think I've ever been asked these questions before.
Only on To Be Frank.
Yeah.
The podcast.
Number 3 would probably go to. I would say has to be my mom.
Okay.
Because I feel that I'm the pop star of the family. Well, I mean, there's several of my family, but I always introduce myself as the star of the family. But I feel like, my mom has her own story to share, her own things. And then lastly, my dad.
Okay.
My dad is like me. My dad is a people's person. My dad is very knowledgeable, a wealth of knowledge. He was on Touch Taste Thursdays maybe a couple months ago. And I just feel like he has so much to share. And the thing about it is he's that guy, but he downplays it.
Okay.
He's that guy that has these connections and these networks or whatever. And he just downplays it.
Okay. So
cool, but his story to me, I think, is very interesting because he did come up in a time of ministry with the TD Jakes, with the Carlton Pearsons, and all of these big names that had these huge mega ministries. And I'm like, Daddy, why you didn't do it? Why didn't you get on TV? Why didn't you write books? And why didn't his thing is like, I ain't got time for that. I'm doing real ministry. I'm not trying to be on TV. I'm not, and so I think the 4 of us, 5 of us all together, I think that would be a dynamic conversation.
That's quite a collective.
Absolutely.
Quite a collective. Which brings me, before we end today's episode, I want to know, a lot of times folks tend to feel that when you have grown up within the church, within the ministry, in the limelight, that you can't mix with, quote unquote, the world.
Okay.
And in reference to style, music, what have you.
Yeah.
Like you're limited.
You're in a box.
You're in this box.
Yeah.
What did Rebekah do to avoid that stereotype
of being a preacher's daughter?
Yes.
I don't think I ever avoided it.
Or avoided being labeled per se.
I don't even think I avoided being labeled. I just did my own thing. Even growing up, my friends that would come over to our house, it was just like a regular day. My dad wasn't like, oh, no, you gotta
in the house, no listening to rap music, no watching.
He don't know my family. No, it wasn't like one of those, oh, you gotta see, oh, we need to pray about it. Oh, crack your Bible open. It's such an interesting dynamic that, as powerful of a ministry my father has had in his 40 some odd years of ministry. A lot of people don't know I'm a preacher's daughter until I tell them. And I don't wear a badge. I don't be like, I'm a preacher's daughter, we lived a normal life. Like my mother was as an educator, and her thing was like, every time the doors of the church open, we ain't gotta go running up there,
right?
Or she was like, yeah, I'm the first lady, but I have a career and I have children to raise, so I don't need to be trekking y'all to church every time the doors open. So a lot of times, stuff that was going on, we was at the house. Revivals, Bible studies, stuff like that. We were at the house, and so we lived a normal, regular life. I mean, My parents are such the dopest parents. I mean, they're own parents, I know, but they're just such the dopest, most down to earth people. My mom, I call her like a black hippie. You know, she listened to a lot of '60s classic soul.
Yeah.
My dad is, you know, power to the people. You know, a lot of James Brown, a lot of Mays, a lot of Isleys, a lot of '70s soul and stuff like that. So it was always just a lot of mix of music. When it came to, you know, entertainment, we went out, we went to the game, we went to Bayou Classic, like we hung out with our friends and we did things. And you know, even now, you know, I'll call my dad and be like, hey dad, you know, whatever such and such, and he'll just give you the real. Like there's no fluff about it now. Because he is a man of God and he is, you know, in the ministry, if there is something that is troubling your soul, he is going to give you a scripture. He is going to give you something to, you know, reference how to navigate whatever that season is. So don't be misunderstood by what I'm saying. You know, but for myself, I grew up in a space where we were able to be children. We were able to be teenagers. We were able to just live life and not feel like, oh, we can't go over there because that's Pastor Brumfield's daughter. Or I can't go over there because, you know, and I mean, of course, people knew my parents. So, you know, it just is what it is. But just being able to live and grow and be, yeah, no, we just lived a regular life.
And I'm grateful for your transparent response. And the reason why I brought that question in is primarily because I feel oftentimes people develop this misconception that religion and spirituality is the same thing. And it's really not.
Right.
And those that's watching, I want you to free yourself. Like this is a small moment. Like this almost, I'm not even gonna call it a small moment. I'm gonna call it an altar call moment.
Altar call?
Like you have to determine the difference between religion and spirituality.
Yes.
And more so, I want you to take the time and understand that relationship is very important.
Absolutely.
And it's very important that not only you have a relationship with Christ, though you have a relationship with yourself.
Yes.
Which brings me to my second to last question. What is the deal with wellness? People aren't really focused on wellness anymore. You're so caught up with, well, because I do this, I can't take time for myself. Just like you mentioned, you had 8,700 jobs. I have 8,700 jobs.
8,702 is what you got.
No, I ensure that I take time for wellness. And wellness, that the way it looks for me is dedicating one full day of doing my favorite things. But going back to my question, those that are caught up with this closed-minded, this robotic way of life, how can we assist them into that freedom of embracing wellness?
So let me say this. My heart is always going to be for preachers' children. You know, bishops' children, apostles' children, just children of ministers of the cloth, you know, whoever that is. My heart is always for them because I know what they go through. I know, you know, how it feels to be trapped in a box where people have put you in a box and you're like, I'm not like any of that. So, you know, my heart is always for them and, you know, wanting to make sure that they're good because I understand that's, you know, being in a space, especially as younger children, you know, and growing up into your teenagehood. Wellness, in addition to that, is just knowing who you are, just knowing what you like, knowing what makes you happy. You know, if that is just taking a day to not do anything, like a Saturday or a Sunday after service or something like that, it's okay. It's okay to not want to do it. It's okay to say no. It's okay to not be involved in every single thing. As I've gotten older and as my public profile has grown, I'm okay with saying, nah, I ain't gonna make it. I'm okay with saying, let me check my calendar. There's nothing on the calendar. Oh, I'm full that day. You know, like there's just certain things that you just have to be okay with just saying, you know what, mentally, I'm not in a good space right now. I may have something going on that I just don't want to be the Debbie Downer of the group. So let me just sit this one out. There's times where I've shown up to spaces where my spirit wasn't right. And it was like, you know what, I got to go. And when you know that and you are comfortable with saying, you know what, this ain't, let me be okay with that.
Right.
Be okay with saying, you know what, I need to take a break.
And people fear saying no. Like they really do, because they feel like if I say no, I'm gonna get disconnected. Say no, new form of rejection.
Yeah.
Say no, new isolation. Just no. Feel like to a lot of people, no means more weight.
Growing up in the church world, when you're asked to do the announcements, you're asked to do the offering, when you're asked to do this, that, and the other, and you say no, it's like, oh, well, why? Why you can't do it? My child do it. Why you can't do it? And it's just like, it's not for everybody. Or you have the opposite where you are doing everything. Yeah. You're leading the choir and you can't sing. You up there reading the scripture and you can't really read. You're doing all of these things. And so it translates into your adulthood where you're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then you find yourself 45 and you're like, I'm so tired. I just want a nap. And you don't know how to say no.
Because you don't roll your behind up.
You don't know how to say no. You're always on go and you toe down.
That is messed up.
So we have to be okay with saying no. We have to be okay with prioritizing our mental health and wellness, establishing boundaries, not allowing people to put whatever it is that they feel about us on us. And then we feel like we have to live up to that. Because you know me, I don't care. Like, I be like, oh, okay, that's what you think. Okay, then.
It is what it is. So here, I'm giving my hands to you. Come on.
Yes.
Come on in. Look, this your air hug.
Come on, hug.
You smell good. Okay.
Oh, okay. Come on, smell good.
Back up off me. So, Becky, thank you again for being on today's podcast. This was an outstanding interview. Before we wrap up the interview, what is next for Becky? What can we look forward to?
Well, thank you for inviting me to be a part of To Be Frank. We haven't known each other very long, but it feels like we've known each other for a long time. And then I kind of feel like, dang, I should have met you like sooner, But nonetheless, I do appreciate you. I honor you. I think that all of the things that you are doing, that you are involved in, is right in alignment with what you were created to do, because you're good at it. I always feel that anything that a person just moves fluidly in and being able to just do it without a whole lot of struggle, that's what they're meant to do. So kudos to you for that, because you do a lot of things and you just make it happen, and you don't really complain much. I mean, you complain, but not too much. So, we'll give you that. But thank you. What's the next?
Don't have me balling up here.
Okay, I won't.
Y'all, I'm a thug. So.
Now, see, you always try to get me, so now it's my turn to get you. Okay. But what's next for me? I have signed on with Getaways, which is a local media company here in Baton Rouge, and what they do is we bring news of the streets to. You have a lot of your mainstream media that will shy away from what it actually is, or they in our communities, or they find the most trap mouth person. Everybody's like, what are you talking about? And so news and entertainment correspondent is I'm going out into these communities and hearing your stories, and if they help bring something to the forefront that's going to improve the in Baton Rouge, then that's what we're all about. And so that's when additionally, I'm working to expand Spice Line. I got to do some creations, of course. I got Corey and the rest of our crew. That's going to be some of my taste testers, and we're going to see how that goes. And just really expanding and improving everything that I already have going on. It's always my prayer that the Lord sends me a partner in relationship to help kind of keep with the motivation going, and to just be my partner in life to, get these things going.
That's right.
That's the thing. I think I know that we're all created for companionship.
Yeah.
And, I'm tired of being a no limit soldier. I'm ready for my soft girl era.
Come on, man.
Yeah. So
just
that's
to sit
next.
down with your robe on and,
Yeah. My robe and my Daniel Greens. Yes, I am ready for that era. Yes.
So, Becky, how can people follow you? How can people stay in touch with you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Rebekah with a K. Again, it is Rebekah with a K. So Rebekah with a K.
Okay.
I am on Facebook at Rebekah E. Brumfield. Really, you can Google me. I know that sounds kind of biggity, but you can Google me.
It's real. Results will come up.
Yeah, that is
Multiple
true.
results.
You can Google me and you can find me there.
Spell it right now.
That part. That part.
Well, frankly speaking, it had to be said. Say what you got to say the first time, not the next time. It's your boy Corey J closing out another powerhouse episode of To Be Frank, the podcast. Subscribe, follow, share, all of that good stuff. Peace.